Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Channeled Wisdom Circle today live. And we have some things for you guys today. Okay, the Cosmic Collective Consciousness has things to say. Okay, so I'm Monica Bey, also known as the Divine Mother, and here on the Channel Wisdom Circle here at Mystic Temple, we give you truth. We bring you truth directly from the Cosmic Collective Consciousness, channeled directly through me by the Cosmic Collective Consciousness. I don't know what I'm about to say before I say it. It just flows. They give it to me and it just starts to flow, mixes with my personality a little bit, and there we go. All right, so let's just get started. What we have today, let me make sure I can see the chat though. All right, we're in the building. Yes, I love it. All right, so what we have today, the Cosmic Collective Consciousness, already starting, is regarding rejection. So again, these are messages that everyone needs to hear. Whoever is on and whoever will be watching this replay later in the future needs to hear. And we're also very connected to all of you in energy as well as it's flowing, as it's channeling. So rejection. Here's the thing. We're going to just bring it out. Okay. We're just going to say it like it is. All right. Rejection is something that a lot of people deal with, something that you have dealt with in the past. And it's very difficult to deal with rejection. It's very difficult to to deal with the feeling of rejection when it comes at first, and then the the processing of that rejection afterwards. And that's what we really want to, that's what they really want to emphasize today. So I'm going to give you a scenario. And this is the rejection that we're talking about, by the way, is any kind of rejection. It's not just a rejection in like a relationship, it's rejection in friendship, it's rejection in every kind of relationship that you can possibly think of. Also work relationships, also career. There's rejection that we deal with all the time. And so the question is how to deal with that rejection and how to make sure it doesn't end up affecting you negatively. How do you do that? So let's first talk about the rejection itself. When we have rejection, when someone rejects us, we take that personally. We internalize that. Herein lies the problem. The book of Rashida talks about this as well. Internalization is the beginning of suffering. Understand that. Internalization is, say it again for the people in the back. Internalization is the beginning of suffering. That's like the one of the first steps to suffering. Okay? When you internalize something, you take it personal. One thing that you have to remember, nothing is ever personal. Nothing is ever personal. It may feel personal, but it's not actually personal. If you actually take look at the grand scheme, get a bird's eye view, step outside of yourself and look at the grand scheme of things, you can see why everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Rejection is actually happening for you, not against you, even though it feels like it's against you. And just like we talked about yesterday, there's certain things that we want in life and we really want that. And when we get rejected, we feel like there's nothing we can do and we feel like everything is falling down, and then we feel out of control. But then what the Cosmic Collective Consciousness is also showing is like then what happens is once you start being rejected, you then start to seek acceptance. So rejection begets the seeking of acceptance when you internalize it. And it's not, sometimes it's an immediate process, sometimes it's a slow process, especially with repeated rejection. And when you start seeking acceptance, that's when you go down a very, very bad rabbit hole. That's when you go down, that's when you start going wayward off your path. That's when you start feeling depressed and anxious and desperate and things like that. And a lot of times you will have these types of patterns in your life and not realize why you're having these patterns, why you are seeking so much. You're grasping for someone's acceptance. You're grasping for love, and these things can make you make bad decisions. Okay, in relationships, we all know that. They can also make you make bad decisions in careers. They can make you make a bad decision in your friendships, and all of those things. People surround your life. People surround your life. So if you don't remember that people surround your life, then you're lost. And if you're trying to sit there and grasp for love, and there's people around, the people that you have around you will end up shaping how your life ends up going in your human experience. Because like I've said before, we need other humans in this human experience in one way, shape, or another. But who are you attracting? When you are grasping for things, you start attracting the wrong things. You start attracting the wrong people. You start attracting the wrong situations. Okay. And they're really not the wrong situations because that's what you wanted. That's what your energy is attracting. So when we feel like, oh, we're attracting the wrong people, no, you're attracting exactly who you wanted to attract, not consciously, but your energy is saying, love me, give me something, anything, please. And that's when you start to actually grasp for those people, and people pick up on that. You start to attract those people literally. It's like you become a magnet for people who want to prey on desperate people. Okay, let's talk about it. People who want to prey on desperate people, you become a magnet for that. And then you wonder why your life is going the way it's going when you're the one attracting it. And this is why going within, what we talked about yesterday, is so important, because you're not aware of what's going on inside of you, because it's not always there on the conscious mind. In fact, usually it's not conscious. You're not like, hey, let me attract someone who's gonna uh you know take advantage of me. Let me let me attract someone. You're not literally thinking about that. Most people, if you're sane, you're not thinking about that. You want good things for your life. But this is why it's important to understand what's going on inside of you, because if you don't understand, then you don't know that you're the problem. Okay? And you're usually the problem, by the way. You are usually the problem. Of all your problems, you are usually the source. Usually, not always, but usually. So, with that rejection, it's important to understand. Let's talk about the internalization piece of that. When you are internalizing uh, rejection, that taps into your worthiness. It's saying to yourself, I'm unworthy. It's sending a message to yourself that says, no one loves me. I'm not worthy of attention. I'm not worthy of this uh, of this opportunity. I'm not worthy of good things in my life because people reject me. And what do we normally do? Our natural visceral reaction to rejection is to reject the other person right back. That tells you right then and there that you are internalizing it. That tells you right there. If someone rejects you and you're like, well, F you anyway, that is, you are internalizing that. And you're rejecting back as a defense mechanism and a little bit of offense. It's mostly defense because you felt attacked, even though the person just simply didn't want to go with you, or the person did whatever. That's them. Again, it's not personal. When someone rejects you, it may feel like you because they're rejecting you. You're the subject of that reject, but it's not necessarily really you, because there's reasons. Everyone's on their own journey. Remember, everyone's on their own journey, and no one is required to accept you. Okay, hate to break it to you, no one is required to accept you, and it's okay, because rejection is happening for you. If someone rejects you, that means they are not for you. Respect the resistance. Okay, I always say that, respect the resistance. When you don't respect the resistance, that's when you create your own suffering, because now that internalization, and therefore that ends up creating the unworthiness. That unworthiness seeks significance. When we feel unworthy, our immediate reaction to that unworthiness is significance. We want to have significance in some way. So what's going to bring us significance? Now that's when our mind can take us in a lot of different directions. But wherever it takes us, I guarantee you it's not a good place. When you start really seeking acceptance and seeking significance in that way, because it's rooted in a lack of worthiness, then you make very, very bad decisions in your life. And then again, you wonder why you're in the situations that you're in. So I also want to state, um, or they want to state, that a reminder for some of you who follow me a long time, you've heard me say this a bunch of times, but for everyone else and you as well, um, remember that our connections with other people are all soul contracts. So when we have connections with other people, those are soul contracts. They have already been agreed to. They're there. What's the purpose of a contract? It's mutually beneficial. A contract is supposed to be mutually beneficial. So you're giving them something, they're giving you something. And that could be a million things. It could be something life changing. It could be something small that then moves you on your path. But every connection that we have with people give us something, whether that's an opportunity to learn, even through a negative experience, if that's an opportunity to grow, if that's an opportunity to get back on your path, because maybe this person comes in as a corrector of the path. There's a lot of different things, but when there's rejection, a lot of times, especially if maybe there you've been uh, connected with someone in whatever way, it could be romantic, could be platonic, could be a lot of different things, but you've been connected with someone for a very long time and then you get rejected. That hurts even more. That gets internalized even more. And when you internalize it, what happens? Now, again, there's that unworthiness, then there's the seeking, but that person rejected you because it's time for them to leave. Understand that soul contracts are not permanent. When we think of soulmates, a lot of times when people think of soulmates, they think of like, oh, we're supposed to be together forever for the rest of our lives. No, you can have a soulmate that you're only supposed to be 2 weeks with. You can have a soulmate that you're only supposed to be, 2 years with. That does, just because it ends doesn't mean that they weren't your soulmate. Mate, and also soulmates literally are just a very strong soul contract. To you agree to travel this life together for a particular time period. But sometimes it's forever, sometimes it's not. So understand that life is about experiences. It's not about outcomes in terms of your relationships, in terms of rejection or acceptance. Accept and appreciate the experience and don't be so focused on the outcome, because when you are too focused on the outcome, that's when you start to internalize everything when things end. And that's why many spiritual paths throughout the history of spirituality have taught detachment. That is the core premise of that. It's because when you attach yourself, it's not about detaching from a person or detaching necessarily like, I don't care. It's not that kind of attachment. It's more of a, I accept this experience for what it is right now. And however long it lasts, I'm grateful for that. And then when it ends, it's okay because I know there's another door opening. And you're just going on your journey. There's chapters that close that you have to accept those closures. And so again, rejection can be a lot of different things, but what's important right now, and the reason why they're saying this right now is because I feel like there are some people here right now that are on this live that are experiencing rejection or have recently experienced rejection, and also have experienced rejection somewhat recently in the past, and notice, and now that I'm saying this, you realize, oh, I did react that way. So if you want to limit your human suffering, which is what Mystic Temple is partially about, mainly what it is about, partially, but limiting human suffering. If you want to limit your human suffering, then take heed to what I'm saying. Take heed to what the cosmic collective consciousness is saying through me. Because if you internalize things, period, it doesn't matter what it is. We can go beyond rejection. We can go to things that make you mad. We can go do all these things. If something incites a negative emotional reaction within you, you are internalizing it. You are internalizing it. About this, yes, about the law. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes, especially with friendships, as the real ascension guy was just talking about, with friendships, it is very hard when you lose a good friend that you have been friends with for a really long time. But why is it hard? Because of what I just said. You are attaching to the outcome. You're thinking we're going to be best friends forever. People come and go. Understand the law of impermanence. This is part of what brings you inner peace. So these concepts that I'm talking about today, these are principles that will bring you inner peace, hence reducing human suffering, because everything starts from within. If we don't fix ourselves from within, then we are completely controlled by our external environment. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be controlled by anything. So I like to be fully in control. So when you when you detach, when you recognize the law of impermanence in everything. So we're going beyond. Now they have me go beyond rejection today. Going talking about the law of impermanence. Everything is impermanent. Money is impermanent. People are impermanent. Relationships are impermanent. How permanent they are depends on the relationship and it depends on the soul contract. But the reality is, everything begins and everything ends. And when something ends, something new begins. That is life and death. That is the cycle of life. That is the cycle of our life. That is the spiral of our life. So if you can't accept that, you will continue to suffer. You will continue to suffer. You will continue to be affected by everything that happens in your life. How many of you are affected by every single thing that happens in your life? You shouldn't be. And it's okay. Some things really, really try you. I get it. Some things really, really try you. But this is why inner strength is so important. When you are strong within yourself, when you are able to detach, when you are able to be a sovereign being. What does that mean, being a sovereign being? That means you are able to stand on your own. You're able to stand on your own without the need for acceptance from other people, without the need for permission from whoever in order to be who you are, or to do what you want to do, or to manifest what you want to manifest. That's not being a sovereign being. You have to really be able to stand on your own, and understanding that law of impermanence helps you do that. Understanding that law of impermanence helps you stand strong in a storm. Why does a tree sway in the wind? So that it doesn't break. A tree doesn't just, if the wind blows, a tree doesn't go like this. It sways because it gives and takes, it adapts to the strength of the wind in order to be able to stand strong. So you need to be the tree in your life. Allow yourself to move. You're still standing strong. The tree's not uprooted unless it's a crazy wind, but stay with me in this analogy. Okay. So if the tree's not uprooted when the wind blows, the tree stands still. It's still rooted at its base, but towards the top, it starts to go like this. Why doesn't it just stand like this? Because then it would break if a strong enough wind goes by. That's survival. That is less suffering for the tree. So you, so you need to remember that. That's adaptation. That's being in flow. That is allowing things, knowing that, okay, the wind's going to blow this way, the wind's going to blow that way. I'll blow with it a little bit, but I'm standing firm and strong where I am. Authenticity, acceptance. Yes, yes. So it's important that you remember all of this. And rejection is not, again, going back to rejection, it's not rejecting you as a person. You have to remember your power and who you really are. You are not some your worth is not something that's debatable. Okay? Let's talk about that. Your worth is not debatable. Your worth is not negotiable. Okay? Your worth is not depending upon how much money you make, who you're with, who knows who you are. Your worth is not dependent upon any of that. Your worth is not even dependent on what you contribute to society. Your worth is inherent. That's what you guys need to understand. Your worth, I will say that again for the people in the back. Your worth is inherent, okay? Non negotiable. So there shouldn't be any time that you allow, and I use the word you allow for a reason because it's up to you. There is no reason why you should ever allow anything to damper your worth, to make you feel unworthy, to make you feel like you're not good enough for whatever, or to even to make you feel like you don't deserve something or you're not the type of person that gets XYZ. If you find yourself saying things like that to yourself in your head, like, "Oh, I'm not a lucky person. Oh, I don't do that." You're creating that. That's not true. Those are false words. That is not true because your worth is inherent, meaning that you are worthy of everything. You are powerful enough to get anything. There is nothing that is out of your reach. I need you to really, really understand that on the deepest level. There is absolutely nothing that is out of your reach. But if you believe something is out of your reach, then it is. Why? Because you have the ability to create your reality. So being a sovereign being, it means that you're accepting the fact and really honoring the fact and embodying the fact that your worth is non-negotiable and that this is your reality. You have incarnated here. This is your life, and you get to decide how it goes. You get to decide. But if you're not tapping within, then you won't know. You won't understand that. So you have to. tap within. You have to go within, do meditations, do uh, shamanic journeys, walking meditations, whatever kind of thing that you like to do, but spend some time going within. And you don't have to spend hours a day. 5 minutes a day will change your life, literally. 5 minutes a day of going within will change your life. And if you can't make 5 minutes, 2 minutes. 2 minutes is good too, but it'll change your life if you start doing that every day because you have to be aware of what's going on. And when you see that you are internalizing things, what's the best way to do that? Simply go within and remove that energy because it's an energy. The internalization is an energy. Until you train yourself to no longer internalize things, you have to meet yourself where you are and fix it when you notice it. So you have the ability to do that. Simply tune in, find where that is, disintegrate it. I always teach people a very, very simple exercise that I call the black smoke exercise. You simply move, go within, find it within yourself, find where that is in your body, visualize that as black smoke, and breathe it out. I want everyone to do that right now. We're just going to do that real quick. I want you to tune within yourself, and I want you to just bring your awareness within your body. Notice the energy that's flowing through your body. And I want you to just start scanning your body for any negative energy, any internalization, anything that is dampening your self worth. I want you to find those areas. It might be multiple areas. You may see colors, or it may feel dense, or you may just feel the vibration there. As soon as you put your mind to looking for it, you find it. This is natural. And once you find it, I want you to visualize that as black smoke. Bring that up to your throat. Breathe it out of your mouth, giving that back to the universe to recycle and transmute. And now breathe a sigh of relief. And you have just removed the energy because everything starts with energy. Everything is energy. So when we talk about internalizing things, that sits within our system as a reaction, but it's an energy reaction. And then that goes into one of our chakras, or depending on your makeup and how many times you've been traumatized by that thing, it may go somewhere else in your body. It may be stored in your muscles. It may be stored in your organs. It may be stored uh, in your meridians somewhere. So it depends on your makeup. Everyone's different. So that's why you have to scan your entire energy system to see what that is. So once you do that, you release it. And why do we want to release it? Because we don't want it to build up. It will build up over time and start actually affecting you emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So you want to keep your energy up. You want to keep your energy clean and clear. So that's what. Yep, that's all they have to say today. That's all they have to say today. So again, just to recap, making sure you're looking at rejection in a different way, not as an affront to yourself, but as an opportunity for another door to open. And remembering the law of impermanence, remembering the soul contracts, remembering not to attach yourself to outcomes, but to focus on the experience. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow in the Channel Wisdom Circle. See you. Bye.